Today we're going to react to a video by Regular Guy. He is quite tongue-in-cheek, don't be offended, but amongst his sarcasm he actually holds some points of truth. So let's get into it and see what he has to say.
I think that if a poor woman who gave you back massages and cooked you dinner in the past is today an independent woman because her guy, her man, lifted her up, I think she will continue to take good care of her guy.
Yeah, I wish what he's saying is true, that the women are loyal to their guy who supported them during education or tough times, but in my experience, that's not always the case.
So let's examine this from the other side. All over the world exists poor babes, okay? Poverty babes, as some people prefer to call them. Although I don't like that term myself. I think it's insulting. Babes who lack the pesos to purchase anything, even a pair of socks. These girls are quite interesting. Quite the phenomenon. First of all, they were born and raised in poverty.
Yeah, it's quite a phenomena. But Philippines is a poor country, and there actually is a couple of factors at play here. They're brought up from their little kids to support their parents, so it's kind of like a reverse support system here, in the sense that in the Western world, parents are expected to support and take care of their children at least until they're 18. But in the Philippines, young adults or even children sometimes are expected to work and support their parents if they are poor. And it's a sad system. I don't agree with it, but for obvious reasons, the children don't get to save their own money or don't get to develop their own life fully. They always have to give their earnings to their parents. So it's really a sad system. Don't agree with that at all.
And they don't know, really, anything else. They don't know any different. They usually have one single desire, and that is to raise the standard of living for their family. You'll always hear them say, I want to help my family, because the whole independent family members thing, okay, this is really something that only exists.
Yeah, my girlfriend frequently she doesn't like her job, or she doesn't want to start a new job, but she's doing it for her parents. So her whole life is basically being ruled or dictated by the wants and needs of her parents. It's really a sad system. People cannot seem to take the job that they like, but it's what the parents likes. It's being a child in the Philippines must really suck.
In the Western world, the rest of the world, families actually stick together. So you have the girl who's a young, tight, beautiful little thing, okay? Perfect pair of you-know-what, and just an absolute beaut. Now, because she was born in this environment of poverty, she doesn't know her true value, folks, if you know what I'm saying. Her true worth. Unlike girls in like Angeles City, who are like, they're like a 4, but price themselves as a 10. But the
Well, she probably knows her value as a Filipina. I don't think you need to bring the Western world into this, because most Filipinos, they will never travel or never see the Western world. They are living their entire life in the Philippines. So she probably knows her true value in the Philippines. And if she's a good looker, if she's a head turner, she will know her value well from the local guys who will pursue her or even try to make her pregnant. It's a difficult situation for a woman to be in.
Poverty girl does realize only 2 things. Her family needs help, okay, that's number 1. And number 2, she does realize that marrying a Western man is the answer to her prayers, folks, or her goals, however you want to word it.
Yeah, and that's where the Western man comes in and adds a lot of bonus points when it comes to dating because, like it or not, the Western guys are perceived as rich and stable, perhaps, have a potential for being a good partner for a young Filipina, even if there's a large age difference. Early 20 something will frequently be dating a guy who's retired. That's very common, and it's not because the girl guy, but she loves the package and the security that the Western guy brings.
Okay, so you got this poverty babe, and the poverty babe has you. You're now a couple, okay? You being the Western man, the answer to her prayers, really the only option she has to get out of her situation. I mean, there exist poverty girls who are.
Uh, Dating a Western guy is not the only option. I mean, she could start her own business. She could move to the Philippines. I mean, move to a Western country. There are other options besides, sticking it out in the Philippines. I don't agree with that.
Are smart and intelligent. They got a good head on their shoulders. They study hard and ignore the advances from these local barangay boys, these local classmates who are just gonna, bang them and take off, basically. But the girl stays ahead of her class in hopes of getting a scholarship. She's got a really good head on her shoulders. But the reality is that even if she does study hard and she gets that scholarship, a lot of these poverty families still can't afford an education.
Yeah, that's true. Just because you get a scholarship, you don't get books and study materials for free. You still need to buy that, and even just buying supplies for your study is or can be pretty expensive in the Philippines. So if you're a poor family, just getting a scholarship is not like a ticket to heaven.
Now, how do the girls deal with this? There is a massive unknown market for university girls who sleep with men in order to fund their studies.
Yeah, that's a strong statement. I wouldn't agree with that. He says university students sleep with men so they can afford their college study. That's not true. I mean, the girl, if she's a decent, wholesome girl, she might suggest support or very gently talk about her school studies and how it is expensive, but she will never come out and say directly to the foreign boyfriend, "Please help me with some funds for university." That's I don't see that as a possibility.
I mean, they'll even sleep with their professors just because they know he's available from word of mouth. And he's right there. Whereas the other guys who are available, they're scattered around. The girl doesn't know how to find them. They're more out of reach. The best guys for these girls are harder to attain. So, what these girls do to get over this financial hump they have with their university expenses is to go on dating sites and meet foreign men. And these foreign men hopefully will fund their studies for them. And let's talk bones. Now, the girls, they're either going to request money from the guy.
Yeah, I've never heard of a professor sleeping with the students. Although that might happen, I don't see that as a common uh, event.
Going to date the guy hoping that the guy's going to help them out, or the guy's just going to be honest and say, well, how about we just bang for some bones? But talking about price here, we're talking like only 1 or 2,000 pesos for the deed. I mean, as I said, they don't know their true value. These are poverty babes trying to.
Yeah, he's suggesting that the university student will sleep with a guy for money. I've never heard that or seen that. The only thing that's happened to me is the very gentle talk from the girl is that she has expensive school tuitions or that she's late on school tuition and she's being threatened with expulsion from the school program. And I've never personally seen or heard any requests for money from the rich for tuition. I've actually offered school tuition to my current girlfriend, but she actually refused to take it, and that's another reason why I think this story about university girls sleeping with a guy for money is ridiculous, because my own girlfriend, she actually refused the money for school tuition, and she actually was forced to quit school because she didn't have money to pay for tuition. So it's a sad situation when they don't want to accept money because of pride, and yet they realize perhaps their life will be so much different if they finish their university studies.
Get themselves and their families out of poverty. They have a lot of pressure. These girls have a lot of pressure on them. Not finishing university is just not an option. Now, obviously, you could listen to this and get disgusted by these kinds of happenings, right? But
Yeah, not finishing university is always an option. I don't know why he says it's not an option. It's always an option. It's not a good option, but it is an option.
But you have to understand one thing. You think it's disgusting because you were not born in this environment where this is commonplace. I mean, the world's a rough place, people. But, you know, this is, the girls really have no other option. Also, you have to realize, like, okay, you person who's out there is thinking, this is disgusting. How could anyone take advantage of these girls? Do you?
Yeah, I don't see any Western guys taking advantage of the situation. I mean, the girl herself is actually looking for a good partner that can support her in her life, whether it be education, living expenses, or whatever. But it's, you know, it's done voluntarily. It's not like a business transaction. No way.
Do you really care, or are you pretending to care? I mean, look, if you really care, you would be willing to sponsor this girl so she doesn't have to sleep with these guys, okay? But you're not willing to do that, are you? So I just saying that to keep it real here, folks. She's doing what she has to do because the government's not helping her, the Pope's not helping her, her church isn't helping her. She's in this world by herself. No one is helping her. Now, this is one reason why a lot of guys want to marry a younger, kind of, you know, poverty girl, like 20 years old or so. Let me explain here. Now, really, because we have the, you know, a man has this natural desire to want to lift her up. But we got to be smart here, folks. Now, let's talk about this, okay? Let's explore this idea here for a second. Really, what do you know about your wife's past? Okay, let's say she's 28, 32, 45, whatever. Now, is it possible that if you knew her real past, like let's say you married at 40, okay? Now, she started banging at 17, now she's 40. So you got how many years there, folks, of her banging away? Now, is it possible that if you knew her real past, that you would still marry her? Now, this is on the defense of guys who want to marry some younger poverty baber.
Yeah, you never know the real past of the girl. In fact, it's common knowledge in the dating community that when a girl says her body count number, multiply it by 2, because she's going to try to downplay how many guys she slept with. And the opposite is true for a guy. He's going to try to double that body count, so he's going to be proud of having taking lots of women to bed, and it's opposite depending on the gender, how many people you've slept with.
Barino's here now. I mean, look, you don't really know the girl. You can't. You'll never know her past. Even if she tells you that, you don't know if it's true. Now, do you think that these girls are going to tell you the truth? Oh, imagine these
But you can generally get an idea if she is sleeping around with everybody, or if she's more conservative. You can tell by the personality. Not always, of course, but you know, it becomes obvious for some things that the girl does or says that kind of is inviting for producing a high body count.
university girls. How did they get through university? So let's say we are well-intentioned men here, or women. I mean, maybe, it happens that a
But when I was living in Bangkok, a little side note, I remember my landlord in my apartment. He was giving free rent to several university students, and he would partake in some social activities with them once a week. And he was a married man, so he would go in the back elevator and I guess sneak up to the rooms where the university students were living. So I mean, it's not only a discussion in the Philippines about university girls, but it happens in other countries as well.
woman is looking for a poverty boy. But as we know, the tricky breed only dates up in order to benefit herself. But let's not get into that right now. So you have met a poverty girl on a dating site, okay? Now, how do you know she's a poverty girl before talking to her? Well, you just look at the background of her photos, okay? I mean, is it a hollow block house with a shower curtain for the front door? That's a poverty babe, okay? But they are really the best girls. Now let's talk about this. I mean,
Yeah, you can look at the photos, but you can also tell by their way they're talking, or what they're talking about. If they're frequently talking about stress and paying bills, and they're being behind on their school tuition, you know that she's coming from a poor family.
you're interested in the traditional values that she will bring to a relationship, okay? She likes to cook, clean, take care of you, because that's what she was taught to do from her mother. I mean, her mother's advice to her while she was growing up was, don't get a drunk guy and get a man with a job. So here is Joe Blow, here you are, chatting away with this young, woman. You're chatting away on a dating site, and now she's, she's old enough, she can make her own decisions, and you are there. You're the answer to her dreams, folks, okay? She can actually live a comfortable life if she marries you. My friend told me a little story.
Yeah, he's being sarcastic, but there's some truth in what he's saying. The girl has a lot of pressure from her parents to go to work or help in any way financially to support the parents. It's opposite in the Western world, of course, where the parents are expected to support the children until at least they're 18.
Now my friend is 50, and he was chatting with a 19-year-old girl. And they were doing a video chat, and, her mom was telling her to fix her hair during the video chat. So, the guy will think she's more pretty. I mean, that's their mentality, is it's like, let's.
Yeah, the parents will frequently welcome a good suitor or a good Western man to date their daughter. Not all Western men are suitable or would become good partners for their daughter, but parents are very interested in the future life, future success of their daughter. So of course they're very supportive of anything that is going to guarantee success for their daughter, as well as possible money sources from the Western guy in the future towards the parent.
Try and fix up my daughter so this old guy who's 50 will like my daughter. Compare that to someone who's already established, a well-established family. They're not going to do that crap. I mean, let's look at the girl's options here, okay? Let's look at the family's options for their daughter. It's you, a guy with a pension, okay? You're basically a peso millionaire. Or you can get that handsome truck driver who lives at the end of the road and makes $8 a day and drinks most of that away. Best.
Yeah, the Filipinos love to drink and smoke, and the average American pension is around $1,800 a month. So if you bring that to the Philippines, you are doing very well. You're getting the salary of a doctor or somebody well paid, even on a low Social Security pension from the U.S. So you will be very attractive in the eyes of the girl and the eyes of the parents.
Besides, a lot of these girls, they don't even care about looks on a guy, okay? Like, the girl's duty is to look good and take care of them.
Yeah, there is a difference there between what girls are looking for and what guys are looking for, and guys frequently get this misunderstood and don't understand why young girls, even in America, would date an older guy. I mean, um the reason is there's a difference in perception of attraction. Guys look at a sexy, uh, healthy um female with the eyes of a beauty, and the woman, she looks at the whole package as what's called social value. She looks at his career, looks at his income, looks at if he's stable, blah blah blah. But there is a big difference in perception of attraction between boys and girls, and very frequently, Western guys that come to the Philippines, they don't understand why a 20-something-year-old girl will date an older retired guy. They just, even when it happens to themselves, they just don't get it. They think there must be something wrong, and there's nothing wrong. A girl prefers a mature, stable guy and looks at the whole social value package, and I can see that. And guys, I know guys. I'm a guy myself, obviously, but they look at the sex appeal, the attractiveness, the skinniness, the health of the woman. They don't look at the package or the social value of the woman. There's a big difference.
The house, okay? The guy's duty is to protect and obviously financial stability. I mean, look, some girls care about looks in a guy, but most don't, okay? Especially the poverty babes. One main benefit to the poverty girl is that she does not like Starbucks, okay? That the Starbucks lifestyle. Whereas the city girl working at the call center frequents Starbucks and she wants a handbag and she likes window shopping and she's gone down that path of independence, you know? Look, it's only window shopping if you're not around, if you get my.
Yeah, Filipinos are easy to please. They will be happy with going to Jollibee, or they will be happy to buy some cheap clothes at a market. In fact, they enjoy going to the market. But guys like me, myself, a Western guy, we generally like to do everything online. At least myself. It just takes too much work to walk around the market half a day to find a pair of shorts. That's just ridiculous. But when you go online, you can find it in 5 minutes and order it and have it delivered. At least when you live in Makati, 2 days after you ordered it. It's a much easier life.
Drip. But basically, the city girl is going down that path that the Western women have already gone down. And once she's going down that path, there's no bringing her back, folks. But the poverty girl has not gone down that path, okay? What does she want? What does the poverty girl want? Not Starbucks, not a Gucci handbag, not even an imitation Gucci handbag. She wants rice, chicken. Saturday McDonald's is a big reason to jump for joy. A small house, small land, like Anna, her land there, $1,000. She is contented with a quiet life in the province. She would feel out of place in the city. Would she be willing to join you in the city? Yes.
Yeah, I don't recommend living in the province, despite what this guy is saying. Me, myself, I'm a city boy. I just really get stressed when I live in the poor conditions in the province. It's not something that I recommend. But here in Makati, in Legazpi village, we have all the Western conveniences, and we have delivery of online shopping within 2 days. Life is just almost like in the Western world, and it's very comfortable and a lot less costly.
Would she be willing to join you in your country? Yeah, for sure. She would see it as a way to, basically improve the standard of living for her family. Would she change if she went to the city or went to your country? Your girl, would she change? Absolutely she would. Because you are exposing her to a brand new world. That's
Yeah, don't ever take your girl to your home country. She will be changing big time. She will not only be hit on a lot, but she will change her attitude and become more spoiled.
That's the risk you take when you make that move. How that change will affect your girl is what you cannot know until she has actually changed. The thing with women, or the tricky breed, as some like to call them, which I disagree with, is that they can go batshit crazy. I mean, look at girls in the West. It's this constant and never ending push for more and more independence, and they will hang on to a man's coattails to attain it. It's like they
Yeah, materialism is slowly sneaking into the Philippines as well, particularly the city girls, but it's not a problem like it is in the West. And when I lived in Thailand before, it's also a problem there. It's more so a problem in Thailand than it is in the Philippines. They are still behind in some ways, including materialism. So you can still meet a good girl in the Philippines that's not spoiled and not expecting too much. And Philippines is still a good place to meet a wife or a long-term girlfriend.
just can't get enough once they start going down that path. It's like spending money is their new therapy, their newfound happiness. It's like they're looking for happiness on the outside.
Yeah, I noticed that with my girlfriend also. I give her a few thousand pesos, and she'll be gone all day in the market looking for some clothing, and she's having a good time. I think that's in the genes of the girls. Shopping, girls like to do shopping.
With buying things, and they will just never find it. They'll never attain that happiness that the poverty girl already has. Just as, you know, these girls who have gone down the wrong path here, like there was a day in the path where they thought having a house and family would make them happy. And then they have it, and suddenly it's not enough. That is the path the westernized Filipina will go down, and that's great if you can afford it, folks. Now, bringing your poverty girl home. Now, these poverty girls, if you brought them home, you would have to rely on their foundation, their fundamentals. 95% of these girls will want to send their earnings home that they get from the West to their families in the Philippines. And
Yeah, like you said, you want to rely on their fundamentals, their basic character and integrity. In my previous video, I talked about this, how you can not just focus on a girl being old-fashioned or from the province. You should focus on some underlying basic axioms that will guarantee your success with your girlfriend or future wife.
And let's get real. There will be no accounting for what happens to that money. So if you bring her home, even if she's working, money will be sent back to the Philippines. And would her family use that money logically and efficiently? Huh? There's no freaking chance of that, folks. I'm telling you.
Yeah, the Philippines are not very good with budgeting or money management. They probably don't teach it in school, but even common sense, sometimes I shake my head. Like an example would be the foreigner gives money to start a sorry store, which is like a small convenience store, to the girlfriend or the family. And sure enough, they're good at getting it up and running. And then they forget that the earnings from the sales of the products in the store, in the sorry store, has to be saved for future purchases to restock the supplies in the store. No, they don't think like that. They keep selling the supplies, the stock, until it runs out, and then suddenly one day they don't have any more products to sell, and they scratch their head, where can I find the money to buy more stocks? So they just don't have any common sense about budgeting and money management. Sorry to say, Filipinos, if you're listening.
Are you willing to accept that kind of frustration? Your poverty babe, she will become westernized and she'll end it with you as you get older. I mean, she will be around more handsome guys at work. Let me tell you this, folks, as long as she needs you and sees you as a superior person, in other words, she sees you as someone who she needs in order to progress her life, you're golden. As soon as she gets higher than you, it's adios for grandpa.
Yeah, that's a very negative view, but there is some truth to that. But of course, she's not going to kick you out as soon as you lose your source of income. It's he's being very blunt, but there's some truth to that.
Especially if she has figured out that she is making enough to not need you anymore. But let's say, screw that, okay? Screw that. You decide to stay in the Philippines with your poverty baberino. You do not want to live in the West here, folks, and you don't want to bring her to the West. That's the safer move. Just stay in the Philippines and live a simple life.
Yeah, that's the best way. Come to the Philippines and live with your girlfriend in the Philippines. Don't take her back to your home country.
Do you really want a girl who works all day and comes home tired? What about your girl's family needing money from you? Okay, let's talk about this. Okay, this is really case by case, but let's put it this way, folks. Let's say you have a real low budget, real minimal pension, okay? Then this could work to your advantage. You live with the family in their house in the province, and you contribute, say, 20,000 pesos a month, okay? Which is like...
Yeah, I don't recommend living with her parents. It's going to be a never-ending ton of questions regarding money, and you are going to be the rich foreigner, so you're always going to be the target.
Less than $400. Now, that would improve the lives of the household of your poverty girl out there in the province, and the family, they would love you. And you just don't tell them that you've got, say, 1,000 a month coming in, okay? You just don't tell them that. Look.
Yeah, and living in the province, I couldn't do that. It's just not enough Western conveniences. Just having a Western toilet is a convenience and something I expect in my life.
I have a friend of a friend. He's a Filipino guy, okay? And he's an area manager for a big company in Manila. And he makes 120,000 pesos a month. But he tells his family that he makes 30,000 pesos a month because he knows as soon as his family knows about the 120,000, that money's gone. It's done for. It's no different than your wife's family, okay? Don't tell them exactly how much you're making. Lower it by about half. Remember?
Yeah, I don't even think you have to specify a number to the girlfriend or the parents about what you make. In fact, you should be intentionally vague about it, anything to do with money, so they don't set some false expectations in their head about what they can receive from you.
20,000 is a lot for a family in the province. But this guy there, this 120 guy there in Manila, he's Filipino. That's his own family he lies to, okay? Like, it's just got to be done.
Yeah, don't lie to the family of the girlfriend. Just be vague and very non-confrontational when it comes to money. Of course, you can talk to your girlfriend about what you expect and perhaps put her on an allowance and give her a fixed amount every month. I think that's good, but just don't lie. Just be open and direct. And work it out with your girlfriend and kind of use her as a go-between you and her parents.
But anyways, now you're living in your poverty girl's house, okay? And you're able to live a quiet life on $400 a month. And if you think it's rough to live in a hollow block house and have a bathroom that is 30 yards from the actual house, don't worry about it, folks, okay? You will adjust to whatever your environment is within a week or so. Anyway,
I think he's being joking here and sarcastic. You will not adjust. I mean, I tried to live in Boracay for a couple of months, and even that was tough beyond the first 2 weeks of swimming and living in paradise. you're not going to adjust to living in the province if you're a city boy and used to Western convenience. You will just have a hard time.
Respect the family will respect you, and just everyone's happy. Now let's give another example, okay? Let's say you got a bit more money than that guy, that $1,000 a month guy, okay? And you want your poverty baberino to live with you in your apartment in the city. Her family will probably require something from you, okay? Probably. I mean, she will feel the responsibility to help them. I mean, if she is living well in the city and her family is struggling in the province, she will feel some tension. And so you're going to
Yeah, you'll probably feel the tension from her family when she starts asking you for permission or agreement to go and find a job, knowing that she's going to send her money to her parents. Yeah, that's very common. It happened with my girlfriend as well.
to feel that tension too. Well, I know two guys in this circumstance, and one guy found a girl whose family is poor but makes enough not to require anything from the guy. Okay, because what the worst thing is having to send like an allowance for the rest of your life. It's really draining, right? But just some money every so often, it's no big deal, especially if you're really in love with the girl.
Yeah, don't get into the send money every so often because that frequently will be abused and will become more often, and then the amounts will be bigger gradually over time. So it's better to have a talk with your girlfriend and set a fixed amount for an allowance, and she can do with it what she wants. She can spend it on her own personal needs, or she can give some of it or all of it to her parents. You know, best to have a talk with your girlfriend first. Don't leave it open-ended and an open big black hole where you don't know the bottom of the financial requests.
So you see what I mean? There are so many different circumstances out there when you get involved with your girl. I mean, for the poverty girl that you choose and her family issues, it's all about how well you are at conflict resolution. So when it comes to young poverty babes in the Philippines or abroad, keep an open mind. You got a girl there with good values as a wife, as many guys want this, okay? Now, keep her away from all the Western crap of feminism. And remember that going old in age, a bit older, the female, a lot of guys like to do, but she may be more mature, okay? Now, I've talked to 19-year-olds who are more mature than 40-year-olds, so I don't buy that. But a lot of guys insist the older she is, the more mature she is. But she also, remember this, will blame you for the mistakes she's made in her past, like her ex-boyfriend cheating on her. So now she doesn't try.
Yeah, my girlfriend never blamed me for her ex-boyfriend cheating on her in the past. I don't see that, but I have experienced her ex-boyfriend interfering with our current relationship and situation. I have experienced that, and it's still even ongoing today. I don't know why, but yeah, that's another story.
Trust men. You're a man. Now she doesn't trust you. Now you've got to make up for the mistake of her ex-boyfriend. So that goes on and on, okay? With each of her ex-boyfriends, it's going to create a barrier between her and, the everlasting love she has for you. Remember, women are a tricky breed. You don't really know her until time passes. So don't be afraid to go younger folks. There's fewer guys in her past. It's a more truer love, as she may even lose her virginity to you. I mean, who wants a girl who 10 other guys have spewed their jizz monkeys all over? Well, maybe that's what you want, but it's not my thing. Anyway, let's be a little respectful here, folks. Just remember that love does exist out there in this big world. Don't discriminate toward the poor, and keep an open mind to the fact that these poverty babes are rare gems and have to be found. I mean, you can find them online, but trust me, the harder they are to find, the more of a gem she will be.
Yeah, and you shouldn't focus on poverty or even being traditional or old-fashioned. You should focus on moral character and the human quality of the person herself. Don't just listen to bloggers that say go to the province, find a girl away from the city. I don't agree with that.
the best girl, the best poverty babes. They won't be on Tinder. They won't be on Pina Love like the city girls will be, making their rounds as a recycled girl. They won't be easy to access, the real gems. It will be difficult for you to get out to the faraway girls. And then on top of that, okay, you get out, you find her, and then she's got to like you. And then you must ask the parents for permission to take her away. But also keep an open mind and realize that, number one, okay, just keep.
Yeah, the parents are always going to be involved with the girl's life. You don't have to ask for permission to necessarily marry the girl, but you may have to ask for permission to move the girl out of the home and into your home, and even so, you will still have a girl that you're living with or dating with that's always in contact with her parents, and they're kind of like part of your new family in a sense. So you should always be respectful and have good relationships with her parents.
An open mind here, folks. Staying single as a man in the Philippines is one of the most underrated beliefs, as everyone seems to be chasing women. Look at cool Jack over there, just living his own life, not interested in women.
Yeah, and that's an alternative lifestyle. If you just want to be single and not hook up and not find a long-term partner, that's totally okay. I mean, there's no one way to be happy in life. If you want to be single, date around, that's totally possible in the Philippines.
I know a guy, he's a friend of mine, okay? He was in Manila for 1 month, okay? 1 month. And he joined a dating site prior to coming over here. I won't say which one, but he had one girl a day coming over to his house in Manila, okay? And he said it was easy. They literally met online, and on the very first conversation agreed to visit him at his house. And he didn't stick it in all of them, but I mean, the majority of them, he did. Think about that when you meet your wife online. How many guys before you has she met from this website? Hey, just enjoy your own company and be one with your soul. Girls are the devil's eye candy sometimes. But hey, we can fantasize. It's fun to fantasize. And remember also, folks, it's fun. Like meeting a girl for coffee. It adds some excitement to the day. And you never know where it's going to end up. You never know where it's going to lead to. But
yeah, that's so true what he's saying. And finding yourself as a best friend is actually the best life, the best therapy. You should get away from the always external stimuli to make yourself happy. It's a trap, and it's hard to get used to, or hard to get your head around. That you can be happy and fulfilled just by being alone or just by being a friend with yourself. It's hard to kind of get the grips over that, but it's really true that you cannot be happy from an external source. It's you can temporarily, but long-term happiness from an external source, that's never going to happen. There's always something that comes up, or somebody dies, somebody gets sick, somebody cheating, somebody your car breaks down. There is no external material thing, and there is no friend or lover that's going to make you happy forever. It just doesn't happen. But the best friend in life is yourself.